So today we are going to look at this linear equation. So with this linear equation, if you notice on both sides of the equation, you have parentheses, right? On both sides of the equation. So that means you um, have to do some distribution, right? So we're going to distribute on both sides. For these type of problem, if you have them and you can't remember that, hey, I got to do the parentheses first, you could try use PEMDAS. You could write PEMDAS on the side of your paper, however works for you. Okay, so I'm going to do this one. And again, I'm just going to do it step by step. So you just follow. If you want to do, you could go ahead and do the fast way, but I'm doing step by step. So for me, I have my negative 4x. I am going to bring down my negative 4x. Then I have my positive 2. I'm going to multiply with every term inside the parentheses, right? So I'm going to multiply my positive 2 with my positive x, my positive 2 with my positive 4. So now it says positive 2 times x is positive 2x. Positive 2 times 4, that's going to give me positive 8. Then my equal sign. So now I'm at the right side. So I have a negative 7x minus parentheses x plus 1. So because there's a minus here and there's no number here, there's automatically a 1, right? So you could put the 1 there if you want to see, or you could just multiply the negative inside the parentheses, right? So if it says negative times x or negative 1 times x, it's going to give me, oh, sorry, I almost missed this. So I have my negative 7x. So I'm going to put my negative 7x. Then I have my negative 1 times my x, which is going to give me negative x, or negative 1x is the same thing because 1 times x is x and 1 times any number is itself. Then I'm going to do my negative 1 by my positive 1. So negative 1 multiplied by a positive 1 is going to give you negative 1. So now we have this stage. We do not have anything else to distribute, but what we can do, we can identify like terms. So we're going to identify our like terms. So starting this side, my like terms, I have a negative 4x and a positive 2x. So I have a negative 4x and a positive 2x. So that's going to give me a negative 2x. There's nothing else on this side to combine, so I'm going to bring down my positive 8. Bring down my equal sign. Now I have on the right side, I have negative 7x. Are you guys seeing that? So I have my negative 7x minus my x, which they are alike, so I could combine them. So that's going to give me not positive, but negative 8x. It is not positive because you're adding 7x, negative 7x to negative x. So it's negative 7x to negative 1x, which gives you negative 8x. Remember, when you're adding two negatives, you keep the sign and you add the digits. And then I have my negative 1. There's nothing to combine it with. So therefore, I'm left with negative 1. I'm sorry for my itchy throat. Right? So now we could go ahead and we could do some inverse operation. I am going to take this 8, positive 8 to the other side. So I'm going to minus 8 from both sides, right? So here we go in subtracting 8 from this side. And I'm also going to subtract 8 from this side. So on this side, I'm left with negative 2x. My positive 8 and my negative 8, they cancel out each other. So that's giving me my equal sign. I'm going to bring down my negative 8x and my negative 1 plus my negative 8. I'm sorry, negative 1 plus my negative 8, yes, is right, is equal to negative 9. On this step right here, I could have do two things. I could have done my constant term and my coefficient, which I bring this over here. But again, I state I want to do it step by step. If you know how to do it, it's fine. But there are some people that do not understand, so you have to go step by step. So this is my step by step. In another video, I could do it again, but I could do it straightforward where I skip all the middle step. Okay, so now I am at this step where I have negative 2x is equal to negative 8x minus 9. I'm solving for x. I need to get all my x's on one side. Here I have a negative x. I'm going over the equal sign, so I'm using the opposite sign. So it's plus 8x on both sides of the equation. Make sure whatever you do on one side of the equation, you do to the other side of the equation. So now we have negative 2x plus 8x. That's going to give us 6x, and it's going to be positive 6x. And that's going to be equal to negative 8x plus 8x cancels out. So I'm only left with negative 9. So on this last step, we are going to divide. Why we are dividing? Because this is stating that 6 multiplied by some number x is equal to negative 9. So we're going to do undo the multiplication. So we're going to divide both sides. Not only one side, we're going to divide both sides by 6. And in that way, we'll get x by itself. So x is going to be equal to negative 9 over 6. You can go ahead and you could simplify, or you could leave the answer just as. If you simplify this as a decimal, you can simplify by dividing by 3, which is going to be 3 over 2. Not only 3 over 2, but negative 3 over 2. And negative 3 over 2. Okay, you want me to do it? Let's do it. So I'm going to simplify, which x is equal to, I'm dividing by 3, divided by 3. Whatever I do to the top ratio must do to the bottom. The numerator and the denominator, those are the vocabulary words. So negative 9 divided by 3, we're going to be equal to negative 3, because 3 times 3 is 9, over 6 divided by 3 is going to be 2, because 3 times 2 is 6. And if I should simplify this, is going to be negative 1 and 1. It's going to be equal to x. It's going to be equal to, if I should simplify it more, it's going to be equal to negative 1 and 1 over 2. So if you multiply it back, you get 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3 over 2. And if you want to get technical, you could do in decimal, which is going to be negative 1 point a half is 5. So you could do either way. Thank you.